Gold's Gym. Men, grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know.
Reasonable crash out.
The fuck? Everybody saw that man in the fucking locker room. No one's saying shit. And I'm fucking done with it.
And it's actually insane how nobody's defending her, how nobody's saying that she's right, how nobody's coming to her aid, how nobody's speaking up about the injustice of somebody with Johnson being in the women's locker room with our wives and daughters. That's something as a society that we should all be willing to protect and stay and be at bat for, especially as men. There are guys in there that aren't defending her at all. They're just walking past as if she's the one that's insane. And sometimes when you're in a world full of insanity like we are now, you can start to feel insane when you're talking about rational, objective reality.
Fucking stupid. It's dangerous. Me naked in front of a man without my permission.
Right.
I'm the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all.
Right.
I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room. I just had the worst experience ever at the gym, at Gold's Gym, and I think this is probably happening at gyms across America, where like trans women are going into the women's locker room and not really caring about how women feel about it.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. They tell you that you should be empathetic and you should accept them and how they view the world, but they don't care at all about how you view the world. The problem is these people who appeal to empathy when they got into positions of power or they had any political influence, they tried to legislate that objective reality was criminal. So they can't appeal to empathy anymore because we see that when they are given the power that they're seeking, they're willing to criminalize our ideas while we're supposed to accept and promote their ideas. This stuff is going to go away soon, but for the people who have already committed to it by having their kids transition or transitioning themselves, obviously they're committed to the cause. But I will say this, I don't think that most people would have cared if you wanted to just identify as transgender. People don't care if you want to identify as a bird, but people do care when you want to identify as a bird and then make it okay to be able to poop on people's car. Even the L, the G's, and the B's are getting sick of the T's because the T's are the ones that ruined the whole HDTV community movement.
The room and not really caring about how women feel about it.
No, they don't care.
And it's really hurtful, yo. Like, how you gonna say you want to be a woman or that you are a woman, but you don't give a fuck how women feel?
Exactly.
Today I was naked in the locker room. I turn around and there's a man there.
These are people who said they want to be like women, and that's one thing to admire women and want to be a woman. I still think that that's weird, but it's a totally different thing to want to become a woman, to beat them up in combat sports and take away their opportunities, and then get them kicked out of their own spaces because you want to invade them. I think that that's an entirely different thing.
Boy clothes, lip gloss, standing there looking at me, I'm butt naked. So the first thing I think is maybe there's a worker in here, maybe I missed the sign. I say the word sir to say, sir, what are you doing in here? He goes, don't fucking talk to me. I'm a woman. I have a right to be in here. Immediately, I'm fucking pissed because I'm butt naked. I feel violated. I feel like weird. Like, I don't want to deal with this, right? So the girls are walking in and they're seeing the commotion and they actually chime in and say, yo, I don't know why he's in here. He's not supposed to be in here. And then I talk to the people that work at Gold's Gym and they don't really have anything to do. They just like, oh, we can file a report about it, incident report. What the fuck is going on? Like, listen, how can you say you're a woman or you want to be a woman and you don't care how women feel?
Exactly.
That's nothing more manly than not giving a fuck about how women feel.
Whoa. Don't drag us into this. We ain't got nothing to do with this. Men have told you for decades. Men have told you since this stuff started that you shouldn't go down this road. Women didn't care. Predominantly women, especially single women, are the ones that vote and encourage this type of stuff. So, hey, don't drag us into this.
I'd like to think. And I get it. Like, everybody has their own things. And I don't want to say that I know everything about gay rights or trans rights. I'm a lesbian. I've been a lesbian my whole life. I treat people how I want to be treated regardless of whatever their sexual orientation is or whatever they decide. So I'm not transphobic and I'm not homophobic. I'm not straightphobic. I'm not racist. None of these things. I just believe in treating people how I want to be treated.
Everybody with a sound mind agrees with her, and we are the silent majority, and we have to stop being so apologetic about objective reality. I think this whole trans thing was a social experiment to see how people would conform, and I think that people are conforming because they want to avoid conflict, and they're doing it so much so that they've been able to prove that humans are willing to deny objective reality in order to avoid conflict, and I say forget that. I say we owe it to our fellow countrymen to stand up against this type of stuff, especially because it's not even objective reality. How can they try to sell us on a lie or try to legislate a lie, something that's obviously not the truth, and we're supposed to just buy it and go along with it? So I do believe that this was part of a larger social experiment that actually was pretty successful at proving that the majority of people will go along with something, even if it isn't objective reality, in order to just conform and avoid conflict. We are the silent majority. Most people agree with what she's saying. It doesn't make us mean to say that you can't be in the bathroom with our daughter. I'm sorry. And if that means that you want to harm yourself because you're not allowed to do that, at this point it's just natural selection, because I'm not going to risk my daughter and my wife's safety to make you feel good. Sorry, buddy. So I think it's safe to say we can finally come out of hiding and say we don't give a shit about your feelings anymore or your beliefs, because you did the same thing to us. You got positions of power. You wanted to get people fired. They tried to get people so that they tried to make so that it was illegal to dead name people and call people by different genders, even if they have a mustache. It's like, whatever, bro. Like you obviously don't want to play by the rules. The gloves are off, and this is complete nonsense.
Why do you guys think it's okay for men to be in the women's restroom? And like, when is the cutoff point? Is it like, oh, you cut off your penis, you can come in here? Why aren't women making the laws? I'm
not going to lie. If a man cut off his Johnson, I believe that he wants to be a woman a little bit more. When you commit that far, now you walking around with boobs and a Johnson, I don't believe you. But if you cut off your Johnson, you've committed to the process. I still believe that you're mentally ill, but you're a little bit more committed to the process. I still don't even necessarily believe that you should be in the women's bathroom, but you've definitely committed more to the process, in my opinion.
And if you really want to fucking be safe and feel good, why don't we just make trans restrooms? Because it ain't right.
Well, because we're not going to... Well, it's because we're not going to change our entire society to compensate for less than 1% of the population. It wouldn't even make sense. It wouldn't even be a good investment for businesses to start to have. And what, are we going to enforce that? Are we going to say that businesses have to invest in a trans bathroom? They have family bathrooms that you can go into if you want to be a trans person. So are we going to force businesses to invest in a trans bathroom that less than 1% of the population is even going to use? Let's just be honest here. I'm sure less than 1% of the population only has one leg, but when they go to Foot Locker, they still got to buy 2 shoes because we don't compensate for such a small minority of the population, and we shouldn't. If you want to be trans, that's on you. I don't got a problem with it, but expecting us to redo our entire society and expecting everybody to just accept your beliefs when they don't disagree, that's something that I do have a problem with.
The way I feel right now?
Crazy.
And don't come into my comments about he gay, he ain't looking at you. I don't give a fuck, bro. It's about a feeling, yo. Like, if you never been a little girl who been touched or been through some shit, you won't understand that feeling. And you've never been a little girl.
Absolutely right, and this is what men have been warning women about for the past 5 years. Since this stuff even became a thing, men were saying this isn't a good direction, but women wanted to go down it anyway, and now you have it. Men going into women's spaces, the very same thing that the feminists who were promoting this type of stuff said that they didn't want. I thought that the promise of feminism and the whole point of it was to protect women, and now they've made it so that men are allowed in their spaces, and the guys are completely dominating. The number one or the highest paid female speaker on the planet is Dylan Mulvaney. This man is getting paid tens of thousands of dollars per speech to go into colleges to tell women about womanhood. Bruce Jenner won Woman of the Year.
The largest women's esports competition just took place a few days ago, where a bunch of women came together to compete against one another in Fortnite at TwitchCon. And guess who won? A biological man.
Dream come true. I'm just so happy right now.
Vader, one last question for you. Coming into something like the Milk Cup Championship, a place for women, made by women, for women, what does it mean to be here now, standing here as the winner of a place like this that is about the presence of women in esports?
I think that it really shows that you could be yourself, like be your true self, be who you are, unapologetic about it, and that there are spaces for everybody and that no one should ever give up.
Guys, give it up one more time for your Milk Cup champions, Xset Nina and Vader!
Well, dudes that have been changing to chicks are crushing it right now. Male Spanish soldiers are self-identifying as women to get better army digs. Army Corporal Roberto, who registered as a female in the past 12 months, reportedly he gets a better salary now. He has nicer accommodations. And then also, he was told that his pension's gone up because women get more to compensate for inequality. Also gets a 15% more annual salary for being a mother. You know what the best part is? Because out of respect for, he said he didn't want to be in the female houses and showering with them and stuff. So they just gave him his own house. Corporal's been allowed to maintain his beard because facial hair is permitted for women, whereas guys have to shave their beard.
What do you mean facial hair is permitted for
There's
women?
nothing in the code of conduct about women having facial hair.
This is just a smart guy. It's a smart ladies.
So the lesbian lady here is saying that women should be the ones that make these rules and laws, and to be honest, that's kind of what this is. This is the result of women having the influence on these rules and laws. Women are the ones who wanted this, and the feminists, who were the ones that were supposed to protect women, were the ones pushing for this the hardest. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or L, and give me the HBO special. That's a special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.